Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. For uses of use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now let's start this dang show.
You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Obviously it's only week 4, but historically the percentages of a team making the playoffs at 1-3 versus 2-2, it's significant difference there. Do you view this this early as a bit of a
both
must?
sides of that statistic too, No, we got to get going. That's all the rest of it. We got to get going.
After a week of watching your team compete, Pete, do you expect the same starting offensive line this week you had last week?
That's a good way to ask it. You could have just asked if JPJ's playing. He's playing in this game, and then our guys they'll both play.
What do you get? Maybe a sense of the mood of the team. Are they just fired up, ready to get back onto the field after last week?
It's so much different this week from last week because of the style of practice we had to do because of the late game and all that kind of stuff on Monday. And this was a regular back to format schedule this week, and it was so much better. It was so much better. And I mean, we have a whole style of how we do it and expectations and standards and all that. We got to get right back to it, and so I'm really pleased with the week.
What have you learned about your team and how they responded to last week, Pete?
Well, I don't know. I know I just told you about what practice was like, okay? They totally came back and worked exactly the way we needed to. This is the championship week of preparation, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They did exactly what we needed them to do, and they did it with energy and juice and toughness and all of that. So let's see. We got Saturday review coming up, and then we get to 1 o'clock, and let's see how we go. You kind of don't ever really know. You like to think you do, but you got to go out there and do the job. I'm sure they're pumped up about their win last week. It was a terrific win for them, and they get to try to make that turn. Like I said, big wins are just difficult to come back from big losses. So see what happens with them. See what happens with us.
What up? What up? What up? It is Friday, but on a Saturday. Where's the music at?
Friday on a Saturday. We're going to screw everybody up. Everyone's going to be thinking tomorrow's Saturday and shit. I got one more day. I don't got to go to work because Cage Match was on yesterday.
For those who seen that we had a family. Well, my family had a family thing yesterday, so we couldn't do the show yesterday. So now we're doing it today in the morning, Saturday morning. If we get a lot of, I don't know, if we get a lot of people watching, does that mean we do Saturday mornings now, like Saturday morning cartoons?
Instead of Fridays? I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, it might be a sign, right? Nobody's coming home from work. Everyone's done. They're just waking up. Oh, what's on fucking? Oh, there we go. I just watched this on YouTube right now.
Making Saturday mornings great again. No, with these two cartoon characters. The Oakland Raiders Savage and Asylum here on your Saturday morning, talking about the Raiders versus Bears matchup in Las Vegas this coming Sunday, which is actually tomorrow, not 2 days from now. And so Asylum, you heard what Pete Carroll said in this intro, and I have a theory though. I honestly believe that Pete Carroll doesn't really care for Hondo's questions. And I don't know if you ever watch when Hondo asked a question. I'm talking about since he got hired by the Raiders. Pete Carroll got hired. He kind of. I always watch facial expressions, and I noticed that Pete Carroll's kind of. Here's this guy again.
It's kind of. I think he said it there though. That's an interesting way of saying that. Why don't you just ask, is JPJ playing? Hondo's trying to, show his education because he's a highly educated, man, and not just now ask the same question that everyone keeps asking, right? I'm sure Pete Carroll heard that question 100 times, during the week. So he's just trying to find a new way to say it, and he's just kind of like, man, just fucking come out and say it. Just ask it. You don't have to beat around the bush here. We're a running team. We like to go straight up the middle. Do the same thing with your questions.
But I mean, that's a lot of people also want to know about JPJ and what's his status going into this game, and a lot of people want to know how come you don't have him playing center and Meredith, and it's a whole. Everyone's talking about the offensive line, so that's it. I guess we're gonna talk about the offensive line. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter what game we're playing. That is going to be the glaring question and topic. It tells something starts happening. We're going to put it, as Pete Carroll said, they start gelling together, right? I mean, but they're answering the questions and everything going, and we'll bring that up. I mean, I'm going to say this much. Putting JPJ back in is going to make the line better. Now, I'm not saying it's great, line is fixed, anything else like that, but I think it's better, and I think the thing you're going to want to watch in this game is watch the center and left guard position. Because I kept saying, right, that Meredith might not be doing half bad. Meredith's having to pick up the slack for Parham because he did not have to worry about JPJ. And then we saw when Kappa went in, now he's got to pick up the slack on two sides, and it's just too much for him, right? And that's why the whole basic center of that line collapsed. So with JPJ back, let's see if that theory, as we'll put it, is true. Is it Parham that needs to be replaced? Is it, something in there? And is Meredith actually a better center than we could think of that we're seeing? Basically, because he's actually, playing 1.5 positions. Yeah. Instead of, in that case, he had to play 2 full position. I mean, it was ugly. We got a team that we can, we appreciate it, Ed. We know you're always here to support us. And we appreciate you. Even though we may not agree on everything, we still support you. We appreciate you. But here's a team where we can bounce back with, okay? This is not one of those automatic losses or anything else like that. You know what I'm saying? Here's a game that we can start fixing some of the problems that we've had in the last 2 games. Defense can get back on track. Special teams needs to get their act fucking together, because I do not want 2 games in a row right there. And maybe be able to, work with this offense. This could be one of those games where that offensive line could start doing something and start that gelling process, that, that confidence boost that they might be an actual NFL starting line.
And I mean, everyone talks about how Genty, the 147 yards? No, 148 yards or whatever, where he has 1 more yard after the contact, and that's why I'm saying is that if this line can just figure it out, this offense as a whole can sweep the league.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
If that
Trey Tucker is emerging.
This offense is, explosive. It's dangerous. There's the potential's there. It's going to be all on that offensive line, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a car, it's like if the line is, what would you, if the quarterback is the engine, right? The quarterback would be the engine, right? I guess. Okay. Or the transmission. Wait, well, what would be the offensive line? No, the offensive line would be the transmission.
Yes.
Quarterback would be the engine. Because if that goes out, the whole car can't move.
Exactly.
It just goes in reverse. So we need to get our transmission fixed. So the car can go.
We're missing a couple gears right now. That's what's going on. We ground those gears too much, and now it's just clunking down the road. We're babying it down the road, and we need to get that fixed.
That is what we got to do. But let's look at the history, Asylum. The Chicago Bears versus the Raiders, all-time history. The Bears lead the all-time series 9-8 by 1 game. And as you see here, something about the NFC North.
Last year?
Say that again?
I said it should be the other way because we should have beaten. Wasn't that last year we played them? And
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Where we
that was
come in and make us look like fucking rookies.
And isn't that also when Khalil Mack had a game too, and that one too? Before he got traded to
no, he was in 2023 he was already in.
Yeah. That was his second year with the
That might have
chart.
been 2021 game you're talking about.
I'm backwards right now. I'm not used to Saturday. Anyways. Okay, yeah. But I know the Raiders offense couldn't do nothing. We couldn't get because that was a bad this is the game where our show after got banned. It got completely wiped off of YouTube because of one Mr. Roger Goodell. That's when he started like, we got to shut this this show down because they're talking too much facts. So so that was that game. But yeah, we lost when he said this last Friday, going into the Washington game of backup quarterbacks taking care of business against us. That was when the world was introduced to Agent Bajent, whatever, whatever.
Sorry, been ready.
Huh?
Sorry.
And so that's how that happened. That was under McDaniels. This was our quarterback was what's his name? It wasn't Garoppolo, and it should have been O'Connell. It was the guy, I keep forgetting his name, and I probably just don't care to remember his name.
Brian Hoyer.
Yes, Bobby Hoyer. Yes, that guy. And it was a horrible game, and that's probably. And then when YouTube took our show off, we're like, whatever. That was a garbage game anyway. Throw it away because that was a whole garbage situation. But looking at this right here, November. 2023, that was we lost 30-12 to a backup quarterback, and then 2021 we lost
a rookie backup quarterback.
Yeah, we lately we just haven't had a good history with the Bears. That's why when we did our schedule prediction, I'm all like, I don't trust playing with the Bears because they could be a garbage team, but somehow we just fall to their level when they're garbage and we end up losing. And it's always like a bad loss. It's not like it was a close game when they somehow got through. It was always like a bad loss. And I don't trust the Bears. This was one of my trap games, or a game that I had predicted that I don't trust it in. I can see the Raiders losing because historically, just in the last 10 games that you see here, they, for the most part, find a way to lose these games. When this one is 6-4, Raiders won 4 games, but they lost to 6 to the Bears. So I don't know, Asylum. How do you feel, especially after the 2 bad losses we had going into this game? I mean, for me, I'm all like, I don't know. I don't want to start 1-3. First quarter of the season
I don't want to start 1-3. I want to be encouraged from the first 2 games, right? Because we played the Chargers well. We just did not, put it together to be able to win that game. We did not get blown out against the Chargers, who were sitting all by their little lonesomes up top, 3-0, going to play playing a bad team too, I think. I don't remember. Anyways, we did not play them terrible. Last week, we kind of just looked like garbage all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to take the promise there. And again, here's a team, with a rookie head coach, had no head coaching experience. So we know all about that, right? We know about how a rookie head coach can get out-coached real easy.
Mm-hmm.
You got a sophomore quarterback who's trying to make a name for himself, a number 1 pick, who came off of a bad season, who, is trying to fill the hype. And, I'm not sure the weapons they have going around. So, their defense is not a, top tier defense, such as, when we went against the Chargers, isn't one of those kind of defenses. So here's a game, and I'm not saying everything's fixed. I'm not saying anything like that. But here we might be able to start seeing some of these little problems that are turning into big issues start to turn around. Sometimes you don't completely fix a problem, but you fix it good enough for it to work. And then there you got the film saying, you got your coaches being able to come in and say, see, you see how that worked there? It's not completely fixed. But if you do this, like I keep saying, these are the kind of results that, just keep doing like this. Keep playing like this. Build the confidence of the team. Build the confidence of that offense. Because Gino needs some help with his confidence. I'm tired of seeing him, pouting on the sideline. Step up and be a fucking captain. I said it, going into week 2. I'm saying it again. The offensive line needs some kind of confidence because they've got to be down in the damn dumps.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Genty, I mean, he needs something going for him because right now, the speed of the game, as he put it, he's not used to being surrounded like he is. He's used to being in a pile and busting out and gone. Our receivers, I don't think we got to build their confidence because most of them already have it. It's going. I mean, you got Tyree, who is coming off of a career game, so his confidence is higher than shit. Kobe, we know he can do his shit. Bowers needs to be able to trust his knee.
Yeah.
And get that going. And I have not seen anything. I don't know if you have it. I'm sure you do. I don't know if Michael Mayer is out because of the hit he took last week.
No, Michael Mayer is out. I don't have that graphic, but I did see that, and I'll have it up to reference by verbalage. But talking about, you said that
I do expect him to be out for a minimum of 3 weeks.
Looking at because you're talking about the Bears defense and all that. Let's look at that right now. The Bears coming in, their offense. They're ranked 10th in total or yards per game, 347. Rushing yards of that is 139.9, which is 8th. Passing is 255.7, which is 9th. And they average 25.3 points a game, which is 9th in the league. Their defense gives up 387 yards a game, which is 29th. Their 139.3 of that is rushing, which is 26 in the league that they give up. They give up 247.7 in the air, 27th in the league. And they give up 31 points a game from the defense, which is 28. So we should be able to score on them if we can just kind of hold some guys on the line of scrimmage. Looking at the Raiders offense, 320.3 yards a game, which is 17. 72.3 of those are rushing, which is 30th. We're still last in the league, carrying that from last year. 248.0, sixth in the league in passing yards, and then 17.7 points per game, 26. Trey Tucker, as you said, helping that, keeping that average a little higher with those 3 touchdowns he had. Did you know that Trey Tucker has all 4 passing touchdowns this season? All of Geno Smith.
Tell you to watch out for him. He's going to have a breakout season. Didn't I say that before the season started?
Yeah. And you know, he has all 4 of them. So Trey Tucker.
Show the Simpsons. We got predictions.
I'm gonna make that. That segment. And then again, so the Raiders on the defense, they give up 351 yards a game, which is 23rd. 114 of that is 18th in the league. That's in they give up 114 of that of rushing. 237 in the air they give up, which is 27th, and 24.7 points a game the Raiders give up, which is 21st. So this could be a high scoring game, maybe, if the Raiders can hold the defense down. Hold the Bears defense and penetrating. So looking at the numbers of the players that are playing, for the most part, Caleb Williams, and as you said, you know, last year they had a bad year, and you know, everything they were talking about in the offseason was that Caleb Williams, the coach at the time, they didn't go through film with him. They didn't like, okay, let's do film today. They didn't want to. They didn't go through film with him. So probably wasn't his fault, Caleb Williams' fault, because now you got Ben Johnson, who could have been the Raiders head coach. And it's funny because Pete Carroll could have been the Bears head coach. Yeah. But it's funny because when they had asked Pete Carroll one of those press conferences earlier this week about the Bears, and he goes, "Oh yeah, remember I interviewed for that job, so I know Caleb Williams is a good quarterback and he can do this on his feet and he can do that with his arm." So it's funny how allegedly we could have Ben Johnson, they could have had Pete Carroll, but we had Pete Carroll, they have Ben Johnson. They got their first win last week. We had our first win in the first week. So I don't want to say we're pretty even because we said that last week and then you saw what happened, but not excuses, but 5 days between games for the Raiders and the travel across the country. They had a whole week plus. The Commanders playing on Thursday night. They had that whole week, and then they got to stay home. So not an excuse, but that all could factor in. I don't know. So
sounds like you're making excuses.
I'm just
you're putting
pixie dust.
Out there, what you're doing.
Yeah, you know who that is, right? Remember, that's this guy right here, Dance Monkey. That's this guy right here. You know, making sure the Raiders don't go and succeed, especially with Pete Carroll coming in. I don't want to do the tinfoil hat right now. And Tom Brady. Everybody involved. Can't have that happen. Looking at Caleb Williams' numbers. Caleb Williams comes in with a 63.4% completion percentage, 715 yards in the air, 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. It's pretty good ratio right there. DeAndre Swift. Right there. Yeah, if you look at ours, 4 and 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions by Geno Smith. DeAndre Swift, the only Swift that people should care about in the NFL. 42 attempts, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, a long of 20. Caleb Williams, second leading rusher on the team, 16 attempts, 97 yards, 1 touchdown, 13, a long of 13. Rome Dunze, this guy can be dangerous. 16 receptions, 227 yards, 4 touchdowns, 37, a long of 37. So the Raiders defense had to, look out for him.
But also needs to get their shit together.
Yeah, talk about guys, a group that needs to gel. The secondary too needs to gel because they're all new guys except for Polamalu. I don't know if Polamalu is trying to do a lot of jobs at once because of the new players in this scheme. Which you said it was like it could be a hybrid, more of a Pete Carroll to a Patrick Graham defense scheme that they're still trying to work out the kinks with these new pieces in. So DJ Moore coming in, 12 receptions, 135 yards, 1 touchdown, along with 30. Asad, I'm looking at these players and everything. I mean, this could be a dangerous offense. And with Ben Johnson coming from the Lions as their offensive coordinator.
I was going to say, remember how dangerous that Lions offense was the last couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get past, anything in the playoffs, but they were putting up points and they were going. So Ben Johnson-led team, you're going to expect, just like here with Pete Carroll, you're going to expect the offense to be better. Just like with the Pete Carroll team, you're going to expect that defense to be better.
Yeah.
And, because, just their offensive coach, defensive coach. Here, I mean, this is going to be a battle. This is where, though, Pete Carroll's experience should hopefully come in and be able to outcoach a Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
This is where experience is in our favor. But that secondary, like you said, Caleb's playing pretty well. Their run game seems a little similar to ours right now.
Mm-hmm.
But their passing game, and like our passing game is obviously better too, but they've got 7 touchdowns. We've got 4. Okay. We also have a couple on the ground. So that, helps out there, in that aspect. But, that secondary is going to be, you cannot tell me Ben Johnson don't see it. Their offensive coordinator don't see it. They're going to be picking on that secondary. This secondary cannot be leaving holes, cannot be blowing coverages. They're going to have to be on their toes and doing what they need to and bring that single interception, bring that number up. They're going to have to get some picks in order to get to Caleb Williams. You're going to have to force him to not want to throw that ball.
Yeah. And, it's going to be, I don't know, like going against quarterback like Herbert in week 2, going against Mariota this past week. These are quarterbacks that can make plays with their legs. Do you see, do you believe the Raiders can contain Caleb Williams in this game?
See, we've struggled with mobile quarterbacks for the longest time. It doesn't matter who the damn head coach was. We struggled with mobile quarterbacks, running quarterbacks. Yeah. It's that dual threat that they have, and you got to put Caleb Williams in that, in that level. That's why, what was it, last year, everybody wanted us to move up and draft him because, that was one of his strengths. So, I mean, that's going to be on Crosby, the defensive line, and the linebackers.
Yeah. They got to make sure they can contain him and keep him as a pocket passer so he doesn't go and come out and make plays on his feet, because that's where he's also dangerous, because he could, like you said, he could take off. You saw over here, second leading rusher for the Bears. So that's main focus. And it's like obvious. We're done. Obvious. Well, yeah, obvious. Raiders, if it's so obvious, let's do it then. Let's contain Caleb. We got to make these running quarterbacks, or these quarterbacks that can make plays on their legs, we got to make them pocket passers, strictly pocket passers. So our linebackers and our DBs can just focus on coverage than having to cover, jump, I got to, so contain Caleb Williams. Looking at the Raiders side, Geno Smith, 63.2% passing. And you know what? Geno Smith is still, we've had bad offensive games the last 2 games, but Geno Smith is still the second highest passer when it comes to, not rated, but when it comes to yards passing, he is the second highest in the league still. So thank you, Trey Tucker. 131 yards of pass yards in the air, 4 touchdowns, and of course the 4 interceptions. He was clean last week, so let's keep that trend going. Ashton Jeanty, 47 attempts, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. That was in the first game on the ground. 18. He had no catches, Ashton Jeanty, this past game. So they need to start getting him in the passing game more in open space, so he can be dangerous outside in open space and away from this offensive line. So And then, of course, you said Jacoby Myers. He's been steady, being the leading receiver, 17 receptions, 228 yards. No touchdowns yet. Long of 45. Trent Tucker is now the second leading as it goes to yards. 13 receptions, 211, 4 touchdowns, 211 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the longest 61. That was one of the touchdowns he had last week. So Asylum, our offense right here, our offense, we got dangerous guys. It all goes on the line of scrimmage in the trenches to get these guys going.
We always say games are won in the trenches, won and lost in the trenches. Trenches are the things that need to be addressed first. I've said it for, I think, the whole 3 years we've been doing this now. And everything else, I said it when we drafted. I did not want to draft Ashton Jeanty, not because he's not talented, but I wanted that offensive lineman. I wanted to work in the trenches, fix the trenches. That way you could have any quarterback and any running back there, and they could be successful. They may not be great, but they should be able to be successful if your offensive line is doing their job.
Yes. Exactly.
Mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop. But looking at, let's go to the tape over here with the quarterbacks. There he goes. Geno Smith versus Caleb Williams. Geno Smith, the veteran at 34, to Caleb Williams in the second year in the league. They're both 1-2. They're both 1-2. Look at their completion percentage is just about equal. Geno Smith has more passing yards, but Caleb Williams, the most important stat, has more touchdowns and also less interceptions.
I was going to say that's kind of the two most important stats right there. The most important one, I think, is the interceptions. Second one being the touchdowns.
Yeah, because he's not giving the other team extra possessions from the interceptions, but also Caleb Williams
position. Yeah, depending on where it happens, you're not giving the other team. You're giving your defense a chance to rest. You're not giving up good field position. You're not making it, easy for the other team. And really, those 3 of those 4 interceptions was against the Chargers, and that's why the Chargers won.
Field possession and extra possessions. So
yeah, think about it. They got on those 3 possessions, they got 3 field goals, 9 points. Take away those 9 points, what was the score going to be? Assuming
I forgot what the score was. I know it was a lot to a little.
Well, one side had more than the other, but it was a lot closer than,
Yeah.
How many second down incompletions versus third down incompletions?
Third down. Yeah.
You don't have that stat.
If you want me to make graphics and stats, please go to TheCageMatchShow@gmail.com, and I will make any stat graphic to make us the most informative show on YouTube with visuals, because we don't have Yahoo Chat Sports to make our own graphics. We do it organically, and we don't wear our jerseys backwards. No, anyways. All right. But yes, Jason Downs, yes. How many second down completions versus third down incompletions? I don't know. This our offense just needs to. You know what? I don't want to get into how he kept saying the last couple of years where we just need this offense to, figure out what their identity is. Because right now, I guess you could say our identity is the passing game, because the running game is still non-existent from last year. So, I mean, I don't know. You got me, Jason. I wasn't ready. I apologize. We always have this. It's been a crazy week this week, so I didn't bring it today. I apologize to everybody out there. We do good, but always do better. A cage match, okay. All right.
Well, according to Jason Downs right here, all we got to do is hold Caleb to third down, because he throws a lot of incompletions on third down.
Well, and I like that stat, But how many times has the Raiders had a quarterback? It would be like 3rd and 12, and then, oh, look, we just gave him a first down. 3rd and 15, and look, we just gave him a first down because we left the middle of the field open. Oh, it's 3rd and 20, and somehow we give them a first down. It's like
on a running play.
On, man.
On a running play.
Yeah, it's like we need. Even with the down and distance, favoring us on that 3rd down, 15 yards. They need to get a 15 yards. Okay, that's easy. We somehow allow the quarterback to make a play, and it's always like it's 3rd and 15, they get 16 yards. 3rd and 20, they get 21 yards. It's like they get it right there. But that's just me being a bitter Raider fan, remembering these WTF moments. Games. Yes. Another stat, Caleb Williams, 16 attempts rushing, 97 yards, 6.1 average with the 1 touchdown. Geno Smith is trying to be a pocket quarterback and not rely on his legs. I don't want to say it's because he's older.
He's older, and those legs.
I was not trying to say that, though. I was like, I don't want to say because he's older.
The legs don't work like they used to.
I don't like that, Kate. I'm 40 years old, and I still believe I can go in the NFL and play and make 10 years and be All-American. Be All-Madden.
Make the All-Madden.
Don't blame it on age, Kate. Don't blame it on age, man. Geno Smith can still do it, man. He can be like Rich Gannon.
I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, that being more of a pocket passer might be because the legs aren't. You know what it's like. Football years is different than regular years.
Yeah.
Football years ages you a lot more. Those knees, those hips, those ankles, they're not 34-year-old ankles. Or
if you spat them, if you tape them real well, and you take some Centrum Silver, you can be that guy.
So I'm just saying that might be part of the reason why he's being more of a pocket passer and not taking off. Well, the taking off part, as Peggy put it, he's not having time to be able to take off, because if that's the case, he needs to take off right away, because that offensive line is not giving him anything in that.
Ed. Oh, sorry. Every day I feel like Geno on Mondays. Every day I feel like Geno on the floor, like, oh my God, life has hit me hard again with this offensive line. But this right here, Edward said he's more experienced. You know how running quarterbacks, as they get older in the league, they learn to trust their senses, that sixth sense of that internal clock inside the pocket, where it's like, I don't have to run because I hear, oh, I got to run now. And I try, and then you put yourself in harm because you're in the open field, and now linebackers coming to flatten you out because you're now exposed. So yeah, Geno Smith has that. He's more experienced to rely on. I can be in a pocket one more second, but then again, it's also with this offensive line. You have to think younger. I got to get out the pocket. I got to make plays on my legs now, because my line can't contain these guys outward. Because like Peggy said, like you mentioned, these tackles are getting beat badly, and it's just collapsed in the pocket from around where there are no exit lanes for him, because even if he tries to run between the tackles and the guards are getting pushed back into him. So it's like, well, maybe I could just run forward. Nope, because the center trying to make me, maybe he's trying to do two things at once, because Parham isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's pass blocking on run plays, and then he's run blocking on pass plays, and he's still, whether or not the play is, he's getting beat, or he's just like swinging the door open where his back is already turned to the defender with a wide open. I mean, if Genty can get wide open gaps as these defenders are coming in to sack Geno Smith, Ashton Genty would have about like 200 yards a game.
Right?
That's how wide these holes are.
Geno Smith could be running for 100 yards a game.
Geno Smith needs to be still running. So, I mean, that's just how it is right now. And we're going to talk about that, about what
don't get us wrong.
Kelly said.
It's easy to play armchair quarterback, armchair coach, and do all this shit while these guys are out there playing the game. I mean, it's easy to do that. But that's why we don't get paid, and we do this here. It's because we're not out on the field being able to, play this game and get paid, a lot of money. But at the same time, these guys are still professionals.
Yeah, but as they get paid a lot of money, we pay a lot of money. Whether you are a fan in the stands or a homie at home, I was trying to rhyme there. If you're a fan at the stands or a homie at home, because whether you're paying for a ticket, to get into the stadium and everything you get inside, that adds up. Or if you're trying to watch the game at home, and like you said, Sunday ticket, Prime, YouTube, Apple, and we did it in a CMN before, OnlyFans, you got to pay for all of that.
You got to pay for it all.
Just to watch NFL, Laundry Football League. All right. Let's look at the injury report, Asylum. Here we go. See, okay. I told you I had it. So, all right, looking at this, Brock Bowers' knee, full participant within practice. So he still got the brace on, though. He was still practicing with the brace on. Hopefully, he's able to take that off and be more comfortable to not have it on, so he can get his full range of motion with that knee and start being an impact player like he was last year in his rookie year when he was breaking records. Jeremy Chin, pectoral, full practice, so he should be a full go. Michael Mayer concussion, he's the one, like you said, Asylum. He has been rolled out. That was when he got hit on special teams. I texted her, I said he looked like a boxer when he got knocked out, where his arm just kind of.
Oh yeah, he went stiff. He pulled. Everyone wants to always refer to it, because it's happened to Tua too many times on the field. He pulled the Tua. They call that a animalistic concussion because your body goes straight to animal mode. And does that, and expect Michael to be out probably 3 to 4 weeks. I would not expect him to come back from that concussion next week.
Yeah, and like Pete Carroll did with JPJ, precautionary. I would, when he's cleared, give him just 1 more week. Just let's make sure, let the brain regenerate. Okay, because CT is not real. Cameron Richardson, cornerback, hamstring still, live practice questionable. I can see them deactivating him because of that. Now looking at the Bears, TJ Edwards, linebacker, hamstring, did not practice. He is out. Grady Jarrett, D tackle, knee, he's rolled out. Darnell Wright, elbow, offensive lineman, offensive tackle, he's out. The questionable guys, Kyler Gordon, cornerback with a hamstring, Colston Loveland, tight end with a hip, and DeAndre Swift, who was questionable last week with, I think he had quad issues. He now has hip issues, which I know about that from my work injury. It all ties together. If the quads are tight, it's going to pull the hip, and that's going to hurt the back, and all this, and I know what DeAndre Swift is going through right now.
Saying there's a better chance of him not playing than playing.
If it's the same injury and it's gotten worse or where it's more discomfort, I can see them maybe having him a day off or, a game off to just let his body recover more and get those muscles loosened, because that's where that's all the tightness. And especially with the quads going up into the hip, that pulls, and that's what has the pain, and where it feels like it feels like you want to stretch, but if I just stretch it out, it's gonna be good. But it's more the muscles have to release itself, that tightness on its own, or do cupping, which I do. I do the cupping, and it's weird because you get all these
these bruises,
marks on your leg, and it's all red, and then people look at you and you're like, oh my God, you got leprosy. No. I'm doing cupping because my leg, I have to release the muscles so I cannot walk like I'm 50 something years old. And if that's the case, I want my 401k cashed out and AARP for the discount at Denny's and the big remote control so I can see better, and it glows too when you press it. The remote control, the universal, when you press it, and the numbers glow, and it's like so cool. Anyways, they don't have those anymore. There's too many things to connect them to, so it doesn't work that way. They're all questionable. DeMarco Jackson, hamstring, linebacker hamstring. Jalen Jones, DB, hamstring. and Cole Kmet, not Kermit. Okay, not Kermit. It's not the Chiefs.
Not Kermit the Frog. It's Kmet the Frog.
No, Kmet, the tight end groin.
It's French.
French. They should be active to play. So that is your injury report right there, Asylum. Okay, remove that.
They're dealing with a lot more injuries than us. That's I don't want to say a good sign because I don't wish injury on any players. I don't care what team they play for. That's not the kind of fans we are. But if they're dealing with that many injuries, how many people are dealing with smaller injuries but still going to play that could possibly affect the game? We were just talking about DeAndre Swift, right? You're talking about Swift and Ashton being similar. Now they're going to go back to their backup running back, which might be bad for us because we just let one friggin' run all over us. But, that changes their game plan to possibly being more pass heavy, which is going to force the secondary to be better. But if they are, and turns them one-dimensional, when you turn a team one-dimensional, that's how you end up winning the game.
Yeah. And
but long ways.
So wait, I'm trying to get out of this thing here. Get out. Okay. So Chip Kelly, everyone's talking about the offensive line and everything, and this switch. Huh?
I said, really? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, everyone is like, oh yeah, we should, what's going on, whatever. So let's listen to Chip Kelly and what he had to say when they were asking him about this offensive line and why Meredith and all that. We'll let Chip
started getting some answers.
Yes, so here we go. Chip Kelly in this press conference.
Chip, as a staff, why did you guys feel like it was better for Jackson Parrott-Johnson to play right guard and Jordan Meredith to play center?
Because Jordan did a better job in preseason camp at playing center for us in terms of what we want call-wise, putting us in the right protections, doing all those things. I think Jordan's what you're looking for in the center in this league. He reminds me a little bit, I'm not going to say he is, but he reminds me a lot of Jason Kelsey that I had when I was in Philly. He's got a long way to go. Jason's a Hall of Famer, but he's that type of player. We were really excited about what Jordan's doing at center.
Jackson hasn't played the last few games. What do you miss without him out there? What do you hope? What are you getting back when he does come back?
He's a bigger body, and I think that's one reason why he's a better guard. He's built more like a guard than he is like a center. Jordan's built a little bit more like a Kelsey, an athletic guy, pull, get out in space, all those other things. Jackson is a tough, hard-nosed. There's a lot of big three techniques in this league, so to have how do you handle a guy at the three techniques? So having a bigger body at the guard spot is what he is, and his toughness is always a positive to what we're doing.
You've only had one game with that five-man group that you guys broke camp with.
One of the three, yeah.
Yeah, one of the three, exactly. Are you not excited necessarily, but curious to see what that looks like and give it some time for that?
Yeah, that's just what this league is all about. You better have some depth. We're fortunate we have an extra guard in Alex, and Alex has played a lot of really good football in this league, so we feel like we have three guys that can play guard. And so you're going to get tested. Everybody, I don't think anybody's had the same lineup in every single game so far in the 3 games in this season in the NFL, so that's just part of it. So you hope you can keep your players. And we have a pretty healthy team, to be honest with you. I lost Lonnie is about the only guy we lost in preseason camp. Besides that, it's just been a one-off in a game here or there. So, but this game through the 17-game season is going to test you from an attrition standpoint.
So is it just a continuity thing that has had the offensive line kind of struggle just because they haven't played together?
Yeah, and I think it's the defenses right now. If you look at statistically, Ashton's tied for 10th in the league for carries. With 2 other guys. So of the top 12 backs in the National Football League right now through 3 games, there's only 4 guys that average over 4 yards a carry. So Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, and there's one more, and Cook from Buffalo. Everybody else, Saquon Barkley averages 3.3 yards a carry. McCaffrey averages 3 yards a carry. So Ashton's right in the bunch with those guys right now. I think across the league through the first 3 games, the defenses are ahead of the offenses right now in the NFL, and at a big rate, like not till like 2007 or something, when you go back to the amount of total offense for offenses through the first 3 games is the lowest it's been in about 15 or 20 years. So that's just, and that's this league. Sometimes the defenses are ahead, and then the offenses catch up, and then it goes back and forth, and that's just the nature of this game. But when you look across the league, and
I want to stop it there because I got a question. Do you think he's just making excuses and trying to make comparisons for the Ashton Genty and this whole defense ahead of offense kind of a thing, which I don't disagree with them. Some years defenses are ahead of the offenses are ahead of the defenses, and so one side of the ball is always playing catch up. But when it comes to the Ashton Genty part, do you think it's just trying to use stats to make the guy look good? Or does he truly believe it and he's not worried about what's going on?
Well, earlier I had watched a interview. It was Rich Eisen. He was interviewing Steve Young. This was a few days ago. And he asked Steve Young about the NFL and the quarterback play and just everything in the offense. And Steve Young said, he goes, man, because, Steve Young, 80s into the 90s, where football was still good until it got more Goodelled, but, before the CBA, or the CBA, when they made the agreement and then make the game safer by having less practices. So you're going out and having full games but less practices, meaning you're more susceptible to injury because you had less wear and tear. It's stupid. It's all backwards, Roger Goodell. But he had said that, in the first 4 games, this is Steve Young talking. In the first 4 games, it's basically preseason, where you have the offense, like it's easier for the defense to like just take off real fast and be good right away, because defenses are easier to pick up more so than offense, because there's more parts to it and more like sophisticated parts that need to do this and that and this and that, where the offense takes a little longer for it to start getting its stride, because that's why in the beginning you have better defenses compared to bad offenses, and then when you get to the end of the season you have better offenses compared to with a defense, where it's like defense to offense, and then as the season progresses it becomes offense over defense. And he said that that's why a lot of these players, they're still trying, they're loving a lot of these early games, they're still trying to kind of get used to the pace of the football speed. As we always talk about, you can generate as much, try to practice how fast someone is in practice or whatever, but it's not into football speed where it's full contact, and you really got to try to juke a guy out because he's really going to try to hit you, not just tap, okay, you're done, whatever, next play. So he's saying that, and then they don't have all the time that they usually do in practice with the coaches. You have a couple of days, OTAs, then they got a break, and then they come in and they do training camp, and they can't have this many practices because it's all about injury and keeping the players safe. Then they go out there and they don't play preseason. The starters don't play preseason, and then they go into the game in week 1 where now it's basically preseason. So I would say that his argument, Chip Kelly, has validity, big words, validity, because even Steve Young, who
word right there,
Steve Young, who played in that last era, can that's the same thing like what Brady says, is where Tom Brady says is that there's no development when it comes to the quarterback because they have to hurry up and get out there and perform. So let's just dumb it down so they can just go out there and make plays, based off of instinct until they understand the offense, and then they start getting good or whatever. But I would say, yeah, throw all these numbers and stats, but I would say it still also fits the narrative of theoretically we're still in preseason because these players are still trying to get to know each other.
So what you're saying is this is our last preseason game.
Well, hopefully this is our last preseason game. Unfortunately, though,
then that's our excuse for the offensive line as well.
I was going to say, unfortunately, though, with this offensive line, we can't cut Parham because we already have the set guys that's lined up behind him. Unless you throw in our
rookies,
the offensive lineman that we had drafted, I got to look at it. Caleb Rogers, and put him at guard and practice him at guard, or Charles Grant. Throw him out there. Oh, not Charles Grant. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Grant.
Yeah. Throw him out there. So get these guys going because Parham, who's a veteran, he should be considered a veteran now. If he can't,
no, he's not that he should be. He is considered a veteran right now. He's been in the league long enough.
If he can't do it, then that means throw in the rookie then, because that's what happened last year. Meredith got hurt. Meredith.
We did it last year and it worked out for Glaze, but now he's having a sophomore slump. Glaze is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, Glaze is having a sophomore slump. But you threw these rookies in early because of injury. I would rather throw them in now and see, because at least if they don't work out, you still have the veteran healthy on the sideline to throw him in there. Not throwing him in there last resort. Oh, he's hurt, and now the guy can't play. That the rookie is not ready for it, so now he can't play. But you don't have another guy to bring in to cover for him because that guy's hurt, which was a starter. Take Parham out, throw one of these guys in there, see if they work. Or I will go all the way and get Lucky Tassi back up because he was mauling guys. But well, he doesn't have enough experience. Yeah, well, the guy who was supposed to have experience in Parham is playing like he has no experience. So I'd rather take my chances with that and put on my money with Lucky Tassi, who was just playing, maul somebody. Can you imagine Tassi on one side and JPJ on the other? Two aggressive mauling guards or offensive linemen.
You mean Meredith could just focus on being a center?
Yeah, and just and just make sure no delayed blitz.
Like the ball and go. Oh
yeah, look out for the delayed blitz.
Yeah.
Just saying. If everything else ain't working, I don't want to hear. Oh, they're not ready. Well,
maybe we should start a petition to put Lucky in. Lucky Taki. We want Lucky Taki.
I'm just saying.
Instead of for everybody, which I saw, which was despicable in my book. On this show, I don't want to say we're not Geno Smith fans, but you know who our quarterback is. Okay. And yeah, there you go. And we got Geno Smith. They were already calling for Kenny Pickett. I saw it they were smiling and glad that they started the rant. This was back in week 2 at home. And they were happy, smiling. They wanted to, why don't we, instead of doing that, why don't we call for Lucky Taki for left guard?
Yeah.
And make that one happen. And then we'll see what Geno Smith could do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I put him
during preseason, he was a standout. It was surprised to see him not make the team.
Yeah. I wouldn't put him at left guard. I would move JPJ to the left guard. Didn't you have him? I was trying to find the graphic. I got to put in the folder where I can get it real quick. The line that you had was JPJ at left guard, Parham at center, and then Meredith at right guard.
Yes. That's what I had.
So Merritt, yeah. So and you have Miller, and then you had DJ Glaze at the ends, the tackles.
Yes.
But what if we just go everything that you just said, but Meredith is center, JPJ's at the left guard, but Lucky Tassi, because he was playing. Yeah, Lucky Tassi's playing right guard. He was playing right guard in preseason. Put him at right guard because he's not worried. I don't want to put the less experienced offensive lineman at Geno Smith's blind side. Because Geno Smith goes back and Lucky Tassi gets beat by a stunt. He can't see it. And then since that's like the quickest route to him, to Geno Smith, I don't want Geno Smith to get knocked out and then now he hits the ground, shoulder injury or whatever, like how Minshew went out last year. I just
think it's hilarious that here we got everyone wanted to know why. You got your offensive coordinator there, Chip Kelly, telling you the same reason why I wanted to put JPJ at guard.
Yeah.
Like I said, I felt like I've heard that before. I heard it on a podcast. Somewhere I'll put JPJ at guard. And why? His toughness, his meanness. I'm for that. I really am. You want to put Lakitaki on the right? So Gino has, when he has his struggles, right? It comes down and everything. He has it coming to him. I'm all for protecting his blind side. If you got the first three there, what was the reason I had for putting, those there? From center all the way to the left, you had a running lane for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
You had an escape route for your quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
just dump out and be able to go. And you didn't have to worry. He did not have to worry about getting hit from behind.
Hey, hold on. Time out. I'm not trying to do like the other one. No, Frills. Think about it. Why all of a sudden, because I'm thinking about right now, I'm going back to my glory years in high school. My Al Bundy years, Why I blocked for 4 touchdowns in one game. No. At left tackle. Okay. When I played in high school, I was a left tackle. My left guard, to my right-hand side, my left guard, he would try to block with his head down. So all the defensive tackle had to do was just push his head down. Rolls over, guy goes in, sacks the quarterback, or stops the run before the handoff, because just throw the guard down. He's not coming up. Throw the guard down, and right there, quick lane. And I'm over here blocking out my guy, and I turn around like, So what if because Parham was on the left side now next to Miller. Yeah. What if Miller, like you said, maybe what Meredith is doing, Miller's trying to do 2 jobs. I'm trying to get this guy, and then I can try and get this guy because the guy next to me can't do shizzle. And he's trying to do both, which when you're trying to spread yourself thin, your job is getting compromised because you're trying to help this guy out. And now you got 2 guys coming and making plays, because your guy he's beating you because you're trying to help this guy who already beat him. And in my senior year, when they switched him out because he didn't make grades for that last game, they put a D tackle there to play left guard, and we go to line of scrimmage. Wait, where's the play going again? It's going to the right. Where am I going? You're going to go to linebacker. Oh, okay. Goes to linebacker, knocks him out, comes back. Where's the play going? It's going our way. So where am I going? You're going to down block in front of the center. You're going to down block. Oh, okay. Wipes him off the line. I'm thinking, like, where was he at in week 1? He could have been there blocking, and we could have had a better offense and score more than no points because we were garbage. But score more than 0 points. We could have scored at least 1 touchdown in these games that we played. And then our offensive line was more solidified.
You need to make a graphic to go with our Team Ramrod one.
Yeah.
We want
Lakitaki for right guard. If our other guys are not ready, whether that is getting the plays ready, whatever, and I know we'll go with Lakitaki went against a whole bunch of 3rd and 4th string guys, whatever. So it doesn't matter. They should know more about how to get past offensive linemen because they've played the sport longer than Lakitaki has, because he came from overseas. What was he? Samoan dude, right? So, rugby, yeah. So you would think, oh, okay. They should be able to get past him, but he was over there. Get out of here! Get out of here! So
I think he's part sumo wrestler.
I would say there you go. That you say sumo wrestler.
Everything's not fucking around, Davis bringing a sumo wrestler to help coach the offensive line.
Yeah, because Al Davis. Al Davis would have been like Chip Kelly, Brendan Carroll. I'm going to need you to bring in the guy that we brought in. Let me try to do the Al Davis voice. I'm going to need you to do the guy that we brought in. I can't do this. I can't do Al Davis voice. I can't do the Brooklyn voice. Bring in the guy that we brought in. Which guy? Lakitasi. Got to bring him in there. Get him in there. And let him wreck the game. But Mr. Davis, he doesn't. I said what I said. Bring him in there and let him wreck the defensive line because we are not winning what we got now. Put him in there. They're gonna look at me like, oh, who made this decision? Oh, that looks like an Al Davis move because I know my players and I know what they can do. Okay, I turned. Al Davis would be like, I turned Asamoah from a safety to a cornerback, and look what happened. Went back to a safety, wasn't that good. I wanted to turn Charles Woodson from a cornerback to a safety. He didn't want to do it. Goes to Green Bay. He listens to them, and look what happened. Don't want to listen to me. Okay. I turned Casper from an offensive tackle to a Hall of Fame tight end. Don't play with me. I know what I'm doing. Al Davis used to come from the sky and be like, lick it, Mark. Okay. I need you. He's got to come down like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and just Mark, I need you to start Lucky Tassi. Tell them down there to start Lucky Tassi at right guard. But father, what do you mean? They got the same haircut. Luke Skywalker and Mark, they got the same haircut, okay? Same blonde, same white. They got the same white, out there in Tatooine, okay? Same thing, all right? He's over there talking to Darth Vader. Sorry, I'm going off topic. Start Lucky Taki, okay? That's what I mean. Start Lucky Taki. That's what we're trying to get at, okay? Yes. That's what we're trying to get at, okay? Okay. Hey, look at Mark. I got it, okay? See, Mark Davis, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. Okay? Same haircut. If your name was Mark and you're blonde, you got the same haircut. No, okay, anyways. We're getting off topic here. All right, smart. Okay. Al Davis, smart enough. Start Lucky Taki at right guard. Put DJ Glaze. Put JPJ Glaze. JPJ at left guard, and just let it happen. Okay, let it happen. Teach how in longest yard. Will you teach me the football? Yes, Lucky Taki, we will. And you're gonna be the most dangerous offensive lineman on the field. You're gonna run people over and throw guys out the way. You're gonna be that sixth grader playing football with the third graders. Get out of here, So that's what we're saying. Lucky Taki at right guard. I think we're the only ones that really can break down the offensive line because, you could look at the scale and go, whoa, we should go start this guy. We should go start this guy. We are team Ramrod here, for Aiden O'Connell, but I'm not going to put the blame more on Geno Smith. Geno Smith is trying to do what he can do with the offense line that can't do.
No, and that's what it is. We did it last year because, Gardner Minshew was just garbage. He was.
Garbage Minshew.
But right now, you cannot put it on Geno Smith. Only thing I put on Geno Smith is his 4 interceptions. Trying to throw the ball into places he shouldn't be throwing. That's what I put on Geno Smith. Other than that, he's trying to do everything he can, to make the game close because of his offensive line is not doing their job.
Oh, I love Douglas Sinclair when it comes into the comment section. We appreciate you, Douglas Sinclair. Look at by the way. He goes, even though the Raiders can't win any games, you guys still keep trying, saying we are the best, but we're not. That's right. The Raiders are not the best. Go the most. You had me up until you started getting into. I don't. Douglas. Oh, you've been as much hate as you say in the comments. You've been watching the show for the last couple of years. That's why I'm all like, I respect you. I'm gonna put it up anyways. Even though I was reading it first, I'm like, I don't get what he's trying to say. But Douglas Sinclair, this is what the show is all about. We're not going to hate you for what you say, even though it doesn't make any sense what you said. But Douglas Sinclair, we appreciate you for watching. Welcome to the show. Shouts out to Douglas Sinclair. He's a Niner fan. They got lucky. They're getting lucky right now with an easy schedule. But it's okay. The record says it. They're 3-0. Okay. Matt Jones. It's cool. That's great. It's cool. Respect Douglas Sinclair. No hate here. All right. We have a lengthy one, but Yeah. So, but at the end of each Friday show, but today is Saturday. So at the end of each preview of the game show, we do a thing called Know Your History. I thought he was going to say it.
Know your fucking history.
This week, since we're facing the Bears, this is a 9-minute video, but if you have the time, because it's Saturday, hey, we ain't got things. I mean, we got things to do this weekend, but we got a little bit of cushion. So it's 9-minute video, but this is the 1976 matchup where the Raiders traveled to Soldier Field to face the Bears. And which was basically a back and forth. This was basically Ken Stabler's offense versus Sweetness versus I'm blanking on his name. Number 34. Why am I blanking on his name? Come on, man. Sweetness. Come on, man. Walter Payton.
I was going to let you get it. I can't save you every time.
I had it. I knew it, Kay. I had it. See, AARP. AARP, I want my Denny's discount. Give me my remote control with the glowing lights, and it's about this big, so I can read. Anyways, here we go. This is Know Your History, 1976, November 7th, 1976. Raiders facing the Bears. Do you got it or me? You got it?
I got it.
Here we go.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
Last week, the Windy City was the site of an outstanding interconference matchup between Chicago's highly competitive Bears and the Oakland Raiders, the most consistent winners in all of pro football. The Raiders' victors in 7 of 8 depend on an overwhelming defense. In their last game, they sacked Denver quarterbacks 10 times, and a high-flying aerial attack triggered by Kenny Stabler, the man they call the Snake. Having his finest season in 7, Stabler is hit for a whopping 66% of his passes and leads the NFL in touchdowns thrown with 15. While the Raiders rely on Stabler's air arm, the Bears travel by foot. And if anyone ever fills the shoes of Gale Sayers, it just might be Walter Payton. Payton leads the entire NFL in rushing and has been nothing short of sensational. Today it could be a classic matchup between the runner versus the passer, Walter Payton versus Kenny Stabler. After the Chicago defense had stopped Oakland in its tracks on the first series of the game, the Bears offense, led by Walter Payton, immediately took advantage of the good field position given them. Payton's run around right end gave Chicago a 3rd-and-1 situation at the Raider 35, a possession play made for the high-flying talents of Walter Payton. The vital first down accomplished, Bear quarterback Bob Avellini took to the air. Number 89, James Scott, pulled in Avellini's pass for a 32-yard gain to the Raider 8. And 2 plays later, Walter Payton finished the drive he began by following playbook perfect Bear blocking into the end zone. Chicago had drawn first blood by sustaining a 5-minute drive that put them ahead of Oakland 7-0. Mark Van Egen's rip up the middle put Oakland close to the Chicago goal, and on the very next play, Stabler passed over the middle to Dave Casper for the touchdown that tied the game. However, the touchdown would be his only catch of the day. Stabler exploded the bomb, and he was the victim. Across the line from him was the fastest man in football, Cliff Branch, and as all who go one-on-one with him know, sooner or later you'll get burned. For Virgil Livers and the Bears, the time had come. Stabler's pass to Branch covered 75 yards and gave the Raiders a 14-7 lead in the game. But as a repeat of the long bomb reveals, Livers had actually done a decent job of staying with the blazing branch. If the cornerback had been more aware of where his opponent was, the reception never would have been made. But it was, and the Bears now trailed by 7. The clock was running, and Chicago was determined to move the ball closer to the Raiders' goal for a better shot at 3 points. The call, not surprisingly, went to Payton, who ran right into the arms of Ted Hendricks, one of a myriad of tackles the Mad Stork made in the first half. With 8 seconds left in the first half, Bob Thomas attempted a 33-yard field goal, but the result speaks for itself. Walter Payton was playing this game with an injured ankle, and in the second half, a combination of Oakland defense and a chill factor that made healthy joints ache had him visibly limping every time he carried the ball. But the biggest blow to Chicago comeback hopes came on the Bears' second play from scrimmage when Bob Avellini fumbled when blitzed by number 41, Phil Villapiano. Dave Rowe recovered for the Raiders on the Chicago 20, and after 3 Mark Van Egan runs carried to the 2-yard line, Clarence Davis followed number 63, Gene Upshaw, to a touchdown. Bob Avellini spotted James Scott behind Skip Thomas for the remaining 36 yards. Avellini to Scott brought the score to 21-14. Chicago had taken advantage of an exchange of punts on which they gained 24 yards. A perfect onside kick by Bob Thomas was recovered by Brian Baschnagel at midfield. After Thomas' perfectly executed kick, the Bears picked their way downfield, arriving at the Oakland 12, from where Walter Payton, bad ankle and all, played hide-and-seek with the Raider defense before breaking through for the score that brought Chicago to within an extra point of tying the game. But the celebrating was a bit premature. On the point after, Ken Huff mishandled the snap, and the Bears still trailed by a point. For the Bears, it was a haunting refrain. After holding Oakland on their next possession, the Bears bounced back once more. Late in the third quarter, a 36-yard pass, Avellini to Roland Harper, had Chicago in close. And from the 2, Walter Payton barged in for a 27-21 Bear lead. For the first time in what promises to be an illustrious career, Payton had 3 touchdowns in one game, and the Bears were in position for their second straight upset. With supplies running low, the Bears mounted another assault on the Oakland fort and created the pivotal play of the game. Roger Stillwell's touchdown was called back. It was an inadvertent whistle, said referee Chuck Eberling. I blew the whistle when I shouldn't have. I just blew the whistle when I shouldn't have. And a repeat of the play reveals that Eberling blew the whistle when he shouldn't have. The ball is clearly fumbled before Ken Stabler hits the ground, and the Bears lost a touchdown they could not reclaim. Chance number 1 to put the game away was gone. Chance number 2 came with 5.5 minutes to go when Craig Clemens failed to intercept a Stabler pass intended for Fred Biletnikoff. Clemens' bobble was to be deadly. For 3 plays later, Stabler went for Cliff Branch, and number 24, Virgil Livers, let chance number 3 bounce through his hands. Livers' missed interception was obviously far more costly than Clemens, for it resulted in a 49-yard touchdown pass that put Oakland in front 28-27. With 30 ticks left, Bob Thomas warmed up as Chicago ran its last play, reached the 14 and called timeout. The game would come down to a 31-yard field goal attempt with 20 seconds left in the game. Into the tricky winds, Thomas thought he had done it, but the ball would hit the upright, touching off a weird succession of events between Holder Huff and Raider Rick Jennings. So by the width of an upright, the Bears failed to beat the Raiders. The Raiders didn't look too thrilled themselves, perhaps because they were just glad to get out of the cold and get out of Chicago with a 28-27 victory, their 8th in 9 games this season.
There you go. Your Know Your History segment right there. Raiders edged out the Bears.
It might come down to something like that just to win this game.
Yes, there will be no snow though, because we're in the dome. So crank up that AC as high as you can, and give us some snow. It never snowed in Oakland, though. So, but yes, that is your Know Your History right there. Raiders edge out the Bears in a back and forth game, whether it was touchdowns or turnovers. But Raiders prevailed in that one on their way to Super Bowl 11, where they beat the Minnesota Vikings in that game. Douglas Sinclair had said something else about the Super Bowl II being in Santa Clara, and he was in the comments, and it got too long, and I couldn't understand. And
yeah, he needs to keep his messages short.
Yes, because the attention span on our show for us, we're like, that's too long. It's too long. And then there's no period, so I don't know where to stop and where to breathe. So I almost passed out. Now I was trying to read it. So, yes. Anyways, that is our show for today. Actually, no, Asylum. I forgot to do it. What is your keys to the game? What is your keys to the game for the Raiders to win this game?
Who the fuck's he talking about? Anyways, yeah, and you said it earlier. Contain Caleb Williams. Okay. O-line, do your job. Give Geno some time. And secondary, get your shit together because they're going to be picking on you in this game.
Yes. Offensive line is the key to this game. I know you just said it. We say it all the time. It's always in the trenches. But the offensive line had 2 bad games. They need to bounce back. Chip Kelly, Chip Kelly is another key to the game. Make sure you have game plays where you can design so we're not relying too much on the offensive line. Get the ball, roll Geno out, get Ashton Jeanty out in space. Whatever it is, but it's all the offensive line. It's basically just one key: is offensive line better play, and then of course secondary needs to communicate, tighten up, and make sure you know who you got, because we had a lot of big plays last game. Maybe it was like Pete Carroll said, the guys were just tired, like they're mentally ready, but their bodies were tired and they were able to give up a lot of big plays. And I mean, that could be the case if the Raiders come out stronger in this game. I know they'll be at home, but they come out stronger in this game, then it could be like they were just exhausted. They were ready to play. But physically, when Debo went down the field and on a kickoff return, we all kind of knew, okay, this is going to be a long game. And that's what it ended up being. So hopefully the Raiders are well rested, and they're at home, and that we have a good Raider crowd there at Legion Stadium where they pull out this victory. And my girlfriend said that Earth and the Fire is going to be there in halftime. I'm going to miss that. So Earth and the Fire, keys to the game, Earth and the Fire. I need you to play Let's Groove. I'm going to need you to play September, even though we're at the end of September. So this is the last chance you can play September, the song September. And I have many more, but there's not a lot of Earth and the Fire. Well, I mean, there probably isn't this, but for the younger crowd. What is these songs? What is I've Had Enough? There's another song, So, yeah. Let's just get it. All right. That's our show for today. Solomon, the last words. We went a half hour more, but it was Saturday, so.
It's Saturday. It's okay. No, I ain't got nothing. Let's just, tighten things up. Start playing like a fucking team. And Gino, step up to that C on your chest.
Yes. Yeah. And there's not, like you said, there's nothing much to say. I'm tired of talking. Let's do, okay? Start talking about it and start being about it. Go out there and be.
God damn it! I've been able to do it for 2 weeks.
Yes, that's why we've been able to stay on the show. Gradell can't shut us down. We have no highlights to show. We don't like that. We want to test the NFL and see if they shut us down again. That's why we need more plays so we can play with YouTube and get them all frustrated. All right, that's our show for today. Raiders need to go get that victory against the Bears. Take care of business. Go 2-2. Finish the first half of the season. The first quarter of the season and 500. That's a good start, especially
with success.
The main. Okay, it's just the Chargers. If we can take care of business, and by the way, the Chargers, you were asking earlier, they're playing the Giants. So yeah, it is a garbage team, the Giants. Jackson Dart.
That's what I thought.
Jackson Dart starting for them.
Let's go, Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Let's go. Don't bring back Russell Wilson, please. All right. That's our show. Raiders, let's have a good game. And Douglas Sinclair, please say no to. I'm just joking. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. Raiders, don't ruin my weekend. Take care. Let's get that victory. Peace out. Let's go.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight again. I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.